Thank all saints I got here in time.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 differences between the Shadow and Bone books and TV show.
You look fine.
Oh, I look more than fine.
And that's how you survive. Not by being overlooked, but by making them look.
I'm sorry. It took me this long to see you, Elena.
For this list, we'll be looking at Netflix's new fantasy series and how it stacks up against the Leigh Bardugo books that inspired it. A spoiler warning is in effect for both the TV show and the novels. What did you think of Shadow and Bone? Give us your thoughts in the comments. Number 10. Civil Unrest in Ravka. As we dive into the world of this story, one of the first things we learn about is the existence of the Shadowfold.
I learned that darkness is a place, and it's full of monsters.
It's a wasteland swathed in a terrifying supernatural darkness, and it splits Ravka, the primary setting of the plot, in half. In the show, we see how the existence of this divider has manifested into political division as well. In West Ravka, a separatist movement is rising.
Now is the time to form our own country, to keep what we make and what we earn, instead of sending it to the east.
Though it's not a major plot point, it could play into future seasons in a big way, especially given the view of General Zlatan where the Sun Summoner is concerned.
She could destroy the fold.
Then she's a threat to our independence.
None of this features in the books at all, but it's a smart expansion on the material that makes the world feel more complex. Number 9. The Darkling and his backstory. For readers of the books, the character known on screen as General Kerrigan has and needs no identifier other than the title of the Darkling.
Please, call me Alexander.
The use of his name is a departure, but more so is the backstory the show gives him. Flashbacks take us into Kerrigan's long ago past at a time when Grisha were hunted and despised.
Soldiers are sweeping west. They're punishing us for being Grisha.
Punishing you? You made him afraid. Now he wants you to fear him.
When the woman he loves is killed by the king's men, Kerrigan's rage and grief drive him to create the Shadowfold.
Submit to
This is a far more sympathetic origin than the one written in the books. That Darkling is concerned for the safety of the Grisha, but is ultimately more driven by an unquenchable thirst for power. Number 8. The Crows. Probably the single biggest difference between Shadow and Bone's book and screen versions is the addition of Kaz Brekker and his gang.
One look and I can tell. Criminals.
The Dregs, as they're called in the books, exist in their own duology, Six of Crows and Crooked Kingdom, both set after Shadow and Bone. Here they're brought in with an agenda that requires them to cross the fold for a high-stakes kidnapping job.
The prize is 1 million Kruger. Now bring me Alinas Heritage.
The addition of the Crows to the story obviously alters elements of the original Shadow and Bone plot. They're a welcome addition, though. They help to flesh out the universe and provide some fun heist-style adventure. It's the Crows themselves we like best, though. Kaz, Inej, and Jesper are dynamic characters who are addictive to watch on screen.
True wealth is the friends you make along the way.
I just might be impressed.
Number 7. The Nina and Matthias plotline. Nina Zenik is another character from Six of Crows, and when we meet her there, she's already a member of Kaz's gang on a mission to break Matthias Helvar out of prison. It ends poorly.
No, Matthias, please.
Nina and Matthias' story isn't ultimately altered much from its book counterpart. The difference is that we see it happen in real time, as opposed to learning about it in past tense as we do in the books. In the first season, Nina and Matthias didn't seem to connect much with the main plot. It was still interesting to watch their relationship grow from enemies to friends, and then into more complicated territory.
I do like you.
Is that so bad?
Yes.
Why?
We look forward to a more central role for this pair going forward.
This can't be it. I'm not done tormenting you.
Number 6. Jenya and Zoya. Both of these powerful Grisha play significant roles in Alina's story. However, Jenya is more prominent at first. She is one of the few genuine friendships Alina is able to form among the Grisha at the Little Palace.
I'm almost as rare as you. Though I'd hardly say saving the Queen from sagging tits makes me as important as you.
The series reduces the development of their relationship, making Jenya's eventual betrayal carry a bit less weight. Zoya, on the other hand, was little more than Alina's antagonist in the first book.
You stink of the orphanage, half-breeds.
The series elevates her character's importance earlier. Zoya also turns against the Darkling sooner than her page counterpart, though she does so for the same reason.
I had family in that city. I need to know how much of it is lost.
It was a smart idea to accelerate Zoya's plot a bit. We just wish we hadn't had to sacrifice more of Jenya in the bargain. Number 5. The Darkling's Shadowy Games. Alina gets a nasty shock when she learns the truth of Kerrigan's plans for her.
With you at his command, he'll be able to enter the fold and weaponize it as he always planned. He'll be unstoppable.
It would be a bombshell no matter what, but the series makes it bigger by revealing elements of his background to Alina for the first time. In contrast, the Darkling of the books is open with Alina about his past. He uses his professed guilt and desire to correct his mistakes as a means to create a bond of trust with her. By cutting this plot point, the show creates a more shocking moment. That said, the layered head games of the book make the Darkling seem even more sinister. It also made Alina's hurt feel more personal.
Did he tell you how lonely he was? Give you a glimpse of the wounded boy? He isn't a boy at all. He is eternal, and you never stood a chance.
This is one case where we prefer the original take. Number 4. Mal. If there is one character who got a giant upgrade on the journey from page to screen, it's Mal. Alina's best friend is a fellow outsider in the TV series, making the bond between them even tighter.
Have you met?
We do.
The pair are also shown to be mutually in love with each other, if mutually clueless, from the beginning, whereas Alina's feelings initially seemed stronger in the book.
I'll find my way back to you. Promise.
Mal loses some of his more problematic qualities as well. While his book counterpart is bitter about Alina's powers and the changes she goes through as a result, Mal of the series is a much more accepting character.
I made some stupid choices at the Little Palace. And
You don't owe me an explanation. I just want to keep you safe.
Free of his personal hang-ups from the book, Mal's love story with Alina becomes one we want to root for. Number 3. Alinas Heritage. The mousy Alina Starkov we meet in the books doesn't really fit in, but it's partly because she doesn't really stand out either. The show takes a different tack. This Alina is noticeably different from others around her.
What's a shoe girl doing here?
I'm Ravka, on the cartography team.
She's half-shoe. An orphan.
Shuhan is a neighbor country of Ravka, and relations between the two are not the best. As a result, Alina's mixed race makes her subject to a lot of suspicion and outright bigotry.
Because I look like my mother, and she looked like the enemy.
Fantasy is a genre bursting with unassuming orphans with big destinies. Tying Alina's low social status to issues of race not only lends the character some uniqueness, but it gives further dimension to the world she lives in.
Out here, when you're different, when you look different, everything's at risk of becoming a fight.
It's a strong choice that makes Shadow and Bone more interesting all around. Number 2. Amplifiers. Designed to increase a Grisha's power, amplifiers play a key role in the story.
Sometimes the game was minor, but with the right binding, the increase in power was astonishing.
They're also one of the elements with the biggest departure from the source material. Amplifiers in the book, usually pieces of animal bone, are made into jewelry and worn by the few Grisha lucky enough to gain them. In the series, amplifiers are a little more gruesome.
They learned killing one of these beasts and then melding a piece of it into their body would amplify their abilities.
It adds a heightened level of horror when Alina is collared for the first time.
What's happening? Wait, I don't understand.
What's more, in the book, it's believed that merely killing the animal is enough to gain its amplifying abilities. The series requires a physical connection for Kerrigan to control Alina's abilities through the stag.
That should bridge
The gap?
Yes. You should now have full access to all of her light.
Creepy. But it makes sense given the transition from written to visual media. Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Alexi's role. His early death in the books is forestalled long enough for him to link the two plots.
This was his son's summer now.
Arkin Visser. Known as the Conductor, this significant character is an invention of the show.
Physics and engineering account for most of my success.
And the rest?
What we might call divine intervention, what others might call luck.
Gloves off. Alina's custom mirrored accessories are happily accepted in the books.
I think I'll be alright on my own.
Of course.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. The finale on the fold. On screen, like on the page, everything comes down to the final crossing into the fold. With all of our heroes on board the doomed skiff, the series makes this climactic moment a much more dramatic one.
The bold move is to strike now.
And the smart one is to get clear of the damned fold first.
I never said I was smart.
Where the book sees Alina abandoning everyone to the Volcra, while she runs off to save Mal, the show gives us a tense battle between Kirigan and Alina's allies. The Crows do their part, and Mal gets a more active role in the showdown.
Did you really think you could kill me? I don't have to kill you, Darkling. Your past will do it for me.
Most importantly, Alina's reclamation of her power comes off less like desperation over Mal, and more like a moment of personal strength.
Your first words to me were, "What are you?" This is what I am.
We see her finally owning her power for her own sake, and we'd be lying if we said it didn't give us goosebumps. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.